Welcome back to NBC Current Affairs. Climate change is emerging as one of the biggest threats to water security in Papua New Guinea. In Port Moresby, prolonged dry seasons, rising temperatures, unpredictable rainfall and flooding are placing increasing pressure on the city's aging water system as the population rapidly grows. With the capital's population nearing 1 million people, the demand for clean and safe drinking water continues to rise. While PNG Water continues to maintain supply to the city, experts warn that climate pressures combined with aging infrastructure and rapid urban growth are worsening water shortages and sanitation challenges. Tony Drua Tom with this story.
This is the Sirinumu Dam, the main water source supplying nearly 80% of Port Moresby's water needs. Located on the Sogari Plateau in Central Province, water from the Sirinumu catchment flows downstream to Rauna 1 and 3 and Rauna 4 before being processed and distributed across the city by Water PNG. But climate change is increasingly threatening the reliability of this vital water source. Long dry seasons, reduced rainfall and rising temperatures are affecting water catchment levels, while flooding and extreme weather events continue to put pressure on aging infrastructure. Water from Sirinumu Dam is also used for the hydroelectric power generation managed by PNG Power, highlighting the growing pressure on limited water resources. Water from Rauna 1 and 3, Rauna 4, and the Laloki River, also known as the Bomana catchment, is pumped to the Mount Eriama water treatment plant outside Port Moresby. At the plant, the water is processed, filtered, disinfected, and stored before being distributed throughout the city. PNG Water Chief Executive Officer James Young says the Mount Eriama treatment plant currently produces around 200 million liters of water per day, while daily consumption across Port Moresby sits at approximately 120 million liters. Despite this capacity, water rationing has remained a recurring issue across the city over the last decade. According to Mr. Young, nearly 60% of treated water is lost during leaks, illegal connections, and deteriorating pipelines. Here is one of the city's most critical water pipes, experiencing leakage. As a result, some parts of the city are experiencing water rationing as Water PNG works to identify where the leakage is and fix it.
I was in today to try and do an assessment of the condition of the pipe and to determine the cause of the leak. I think we can be pretty confident today that the leak isn't on an old connection. It actually appears to be quite close to an old repair, but not directly on it. So there was an old repair done on this pipeline in this area about 20 years ago. But of course, the population of the city 20 years ago was a fraction of what it is today. So perhaps when they did that repair, it didn't have quite an impact on the community in terms of water outages. This one we'll have to go away and have a bit of a think about how we tackle it. But I'm leaning towards excavating a big drain adjacent to the pipe, draining that area, and then perhaps trying to tackle it if we can dry that area out. Now sounds like an easy thing to do, but it is quite a complicated repair given the very, very high pressures in the pipe here. And that's quite a challenge. If we do a normal repair on this pipeline under optimal conditions, perhaps on a hill where we don't have to drain the pipe fully, we did a repair on the 1st of May. It took us about 36 to 48 hours. We minimised the impact to the community. The community was still impacted and we got quite a few complaints, but generally the community's been supportive of those type of repairs. This one could be quite a bit longer, so the planning needs to be very, very rigorous to make sure we minimise those impacts.
Climate change is also compounding these challenges. Modelling by PNG Water and the Asian Development Bank shows that changing weather patterns and prolonged dry conditions continue to threaten long-term water security in the capital. While drought may not be the most immediate risk, officials say climate change is increasing pressure on already fragile infrastructure. At Makana settlement, just 3 kilometers from Mount Iriama, hundreds of residents collect water daily from a leaking roadside pipe. The leaking pipe runs through contaminated swampy water, yet residents continue to use it for drinking, cooking, washing, and laundry, exposing families to serious health risks.
Basic what I'm look drink, wash, pull up him go house, wash. Now, use him low, boiling tea or cook wash too, when we black up siloya. All family was here, all back and pull up him, all back single house, all wash, cook one time, use him sla waraya. Now, sometimes all got coins, money blow or pull him low, pipe go, or house blow. Now, me sometimes me black and pull up him low, so drink.
Rapid urban growth and rural to urban migration have expanded informal settlements into areas with proper water connections, leaving many families vulnerable during dry periods and water shortages. For residents at Makana settlement, life without reliable water access has become normal. Many families have spent more than 2 decades relying on set public taps or water supplied by nearby households. Residents say they struggle living without proper access to clean water.
1992 mi kam no here. Oksi mi kam stable here mi am blaman mi start kam nap no mi lapun. This la water system ya em problem ya mi pla facing no. Time water kam ya all passim na mi pla no sa water how all passim na all picking near time all la go school. You me washing clothes na all green tea na kake na go school I'm right na samba time no kat bara. No kat uniform e no sa go school. Uniform deti na stop all no sa go school. Okay all workman Mary. Money no kira bol ba dream tea na kake na all ba go walk. Em wara stop okata man Mary lo dis ground ni sa kake na stop. No kat bara em by mixing firework kake wen by cook na kake na sirip. Sometimes all pigini Mary pigini mama papa okata ni sa kake na sirip. That's why me facing complaint no me.
Women and children remain the most affected. Every day, women carry 20 and 40 liters of water for their families, while children work long distances carrying containers for drinking, cooking, and cleaning. At Faria settlement, more than 10,000 residents rely on one common water tap. Long queues for water have become part of daily life.
There's 12 to 15,000 people here. They walk from all over, Zone 8, Zone 9, and beyond that, Paria, parts of Paria, and also Kauteri. They came all the way and fetched the water here. And then as you can see, the container is lining up. People getting hard time. We have also water running, the creek running down here, around here, but it's only when the rain comes. And also, this water is contaminated. It's not the water, fresh water come out from the stream, but it's the water that only when the rain comes. And we have this water here. It's contaminated. So people are reluctant because when they wash here, they used to scratch their bodies and, skin disease and all these things involved. So what they do is they pass the water here, go out there, they face difficulties in water.
It's mostly daily struggle. For especially within families, women really need hygiene is part of their daily life. It affects us, and we mostly use these containers to bring water to wash, to do laundry, to cook, and to tend to our young children. So if you see those containers, they are mine. Myself with those containers, I left my wheelbarrow up there to help me to push them all the way up to Zone 4. So that is an example of what mothers go through quietly. Most of us have husbands who travel out always in the morning, do not help us. This is what we do to sustain our families.
According to the Asian Development Bank, Papua New Guinea has some of the lowest levels of access to water supply and sanitation services in the Pacific region. The country has secured 60.9 million US dollars or more than 250 million kina from the Asian Development Bank to improve urban water and sanitation services. The project aims to strengthen climate resilience by rehabilitating the Mount Ariama water treatment plant, expanding storage capacity and distribution networks, and reducing water losses across the system. As climate change continues to intensify across the Pacific, ensuring reliable access to clean water is becoming one of the country's most urgent development challenges. For women and children especially, access to safe water and proper sanitation remains critically important.